From a very young age, I've been taught that grades are very important. To succeed in life means to get good grades. At least that's what I've been told. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not exaggerating when I tell you getting good grades was a life and death situation. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, for me, studying was about perfection. It was about studying every single word of every single page of every single chapter. I mean, it sounds very appealing and logical in principle.
If you study everything to perfection, memorize everything, apply everything, learn everything on the spot,
you'll do very well. Now, this works really well in high school and school level studying, but unfortunately, it does not translate over to university and college. Let me show you what I mean. When you have a lot of workload that's expected of you, you only have a limited amount of time to spend on that work. So when you're trying to study a lesson or a topic to full perfection, you're investing a lot of time into this topic. This is problematic because it's not efficient. But instead of telling you why it's not efficient, let me take you through an analogy. Suppose that you need to draw a human within a time limit of 5 days. The approach of perfectionism in this case would be trying to draw the hands with every skin crevice and every hair follicle and every sweat gland in full detail before moving on to the next part of the body. Now you can kind of see where this is getting a little bit problematic. You're going to be spending hours trying to perfect the hand, erasing and deleting and making sure everything slots right. And then before you realize it, the 5 days are over and you ran out of time just drawing hands. And when you submit your drawing, sure, you've drawn an amazing hand, probably the best hand that's ever been drawn. But the task wasn't to draw a perfect hand. The task was to draw a full human. Let's try the alternative. Instead of drawing the hands in full detail, you can draw them as a very simple outline and then move on to the next body part and do the exact same thing for every single body part. Eventually, you'll have an outline that's very simple, but it looks like a human. But here's the thing, it didn't take you a long time to draw this outline. And now you can go back to the beginning and add another layer of detail to every single body part. And then you can do this over and over again, and you can start stacking up details on every single body part equivalently. And that's exactly how studying a topic works. You could spend hours trying to understand and memorize a topic, or instead you can get the bare minimum out of a topic, move on to the next topic, do the exact same thing, and cover the entire curriculum. And the beautiful thing is you'll find yourself done very quickly, and then you can go back to the beginning and add another layer of detail and understanding to the whole run. That way, you've covered a lot more ground for the exam. I mean, it makes sense. You're not going to be tested on one topic from the curriculum. You're going to be tested on the entire thing. And that's why I see covering the whole thing that way is more logical. And just for reference, by the way, that's how artists draw usually. They don't draw everything in full detail from the beginning. They layer details very gradually. Eventually, the whole thing comes together and it looks very complicated for someone that's looking at it from the outside. Now, the way you choose to cover these lectures is really up to you. Whatever makes you feel comfortable in understanding a lecture as quickly as possible, go with that. If it's watching a video on it, do that. If it's reading the slides, go ahead and do that. If it's reading a textbook, then please go ahead and do that. This is where sort of the art metaphor analogy thing breaks down. I don't recommend rereading and rewatching for your second or third times that you run through the material. I recommend doing something a little bit more mentally tasking. It could be revision through flashcards, it could be revision through practice questions, it could be revision through talking to yourself out loud, trying to explain the lecture to yourself. It could be by drawing the lecture, it could be by making a mind map from your mind, whichever way you really prefer. Obviously, there is some effectiveness to rereading and re-listening, but it's pretty much proven now that active forms of recall are just way better than passive forms of recall. It may take you some time to get used to it at the very beginning if you just reread and re-listen usually, but I can't really stress enough about trying to adopt one of these methods into your studying, because eventually it's going to save you a lot of revision time. Instead of running through the whole material for 10-20 times rereading and re-listening, you could do it in 2 or 3 revision runs with active recall. It's going to require a lot of effort, but trust me, it is worth it. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there that cover the active forms of recall and teach you how to do it, like flashcards or drawing, so you could check out those as well. Either way, letting go of this mindset of perfectionism is a very long process and it takes a lot of effort. So please don't beat yourself up over it if you can't do it after listening to this video. It's gonna take you a lot of tries. It's gonna take you a lot of experimenting. It took me a year or two to completely let go of that mindset, and sometimes you'll even relapse, and that's okay too. Eventually, you'll find yourself doing a lot better and committing to it a lot more. And if you're interested in knowing how I stopped procrastinating by not following schedules, I've got a video for you right here. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving the like and subscribe button a love tap. I'd really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day.